the popular resorts and sent rescuers fanning across the holiday island of Lombok after a powerful 6.9 earthquake killed dozens and reduced thousands of buildings to rubble.
44 people were shot across the Midwestern U.S. city of Chicago Sunday, with 5 killed in a wave of violence police branded totally unacceptable. Local people said 30 people were shot within 3 hours.
Police say 11 children ages 1 to 15 were rescued in the U.S. state of New Mexico after officers raided a makeshift compound occupied by armed terrorists.
California's deadly car wildfire, now the state's 6th most destructive, claimed another life as a power linesman is killed on the job, its 7th fatality.
I'm Alma Angeles, wherever you're watching from around the world. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
We welcome our viewers here in the Philippines and around the world. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sam Cepeda.
And now to the news. Indonesia evacuated hundreds of tourists from popular resorts and sent rescuers fanning across the holiday island of Lombok after a powerful quake killed at least 91 people and damaged thousands of buildings.
It's terrible. It's terrible that what happened in the Gili. It's very terrible. Now we come back here, but I don't know how to go to the airport. I'm with my daughter.
The shallow 6.9 magnitude quake sparked terror among tourists and locals alike, coming just a week after another deadly tremor surged through Lombok and killed 17 people. An operation was also underway to evacuate some 1,200 tourists from the Gili Islands. That's 3 tiny coral-fringed tropical islands a few kilometers off the northwest coast of Lombok that are particularly popular with backpackers and divers. A tsunami alert was issued immediately after the quake struck, sending panicked people running to higher ground, but it was later withdrawn. Some airlines added extra flights to help tourists leave the island, while about 1,200 foreign and domestic tourists were evacuated by boat from 3 Gili Islands off Lombok's northwest coast. The Indonesian Agency for Meteorology, Climatology and Geophysics said more than 120 aftershocks were recorded, including a tremor so powerful it was felt on the neighboring island of Bali, where 2 people died. The Indonesian military said it was sending a vessel with medical aid and supplies and will provide logistical support.
People injured in an earthquake in Indonesia are treated at a hospital in Mataram, Lombok Island, as the death toll rises. Today's quake, which struck at a depth of 15 kilometers off the north coast of Lombok, saw people flee homes, hotels and restaurants as windows and doors rattled in their frames. The hospitals were forced to take patients outside for treatment. Anguished relatives were huddled around loved ones in front of the main clinic in Mataram as medical staff struggled to cope with hundreds of patients. Many were yet to be seen despite spending the night out in the open.
Meanwhile, the Philippines has extended its condolences to the families of those who were killed after a magnitude 7 earthquake struck the Indonesian island of Lombok on Sunday. The Philippine Embassy in Jakarta said there have been no reports that any of the 250 members of the Filipino community in Lombok and nearby areas were among the dead or injured. We also ask our nationals in the area who may have been affected to contact the embassy if they require assistance. Now, that is according to Foreign Affairs Secretary Alan Peter Cayetano in a statement. A 7-member Philippine delegation attending a meeting were also in Lombok when the quake occurred. Philippine Ambassador to Jakarta, Lee Yong-wee, said that they are safe and they will be evacuated from the island. Indonesia's National Disaster Mitigation Agency says the death toll from the earthquake on Lombok has risen to 91, and it could even rise further as rescuers still haven't reached some of the worst affected areas in the north of the island.
American model Chrissy Teigen, who is staying in Bali with her children and singer husband John Legend, live tweeted the quake. Take a look. Bali trembling so long, she told her 10.6 million followers. Teigen then confirmed that aftershocks from the quake had started to hit the area. She wrote, "I'm either still trembling or these little quakes won't stop. I'm trying to be normal here." Australian actress Teresa Palmer was staying in a treehouse in Bali. She tweeted, "We felt it here in Ubud and it was violent. And we are staying in a treehouse and it was swaying like crazy, very scary. Stay safe, everyone."
To other news now, 20 people died when a vintage World War II aircraft crashed into a Swiss mountain at the weekend, according to police, as an investigation was launched into why the plane plummeted straight down at high speed. The police have the sad certainty that the 20 people aboard perished. That is according to police spokeswoman Anita Senti in a news conference. There were 11 men and 9 women aboard, including an Austrian couple and their son. It crashed into Piz Segnes, a 3,000-meter peak in the east of the country on Saturday at an altitude of 2,450 meters on the mountain's western flank. According to German-language newspaper Blick, the flight had taken off from Ticino in the south of the country and had been due to land at the Dubendorf military airfield near Zurich on Saturday afternoon. Now, Swiss reports said the passengers were returning from Locarno, a holiday spot in southern Switzerland on Lake Maggiore, where they had arrived early on Friday. The 20 Minutes newspaper quoted a witness who was on the mountainside at the time of the crash, saying the plane turned 180 degrees to the south and fell to the ground like a stone. That is according to the witness, adding that the debris was scattered over a very small area, indicating that an explosion was unlikely to have been the cause of the crash. The German-built Junker Ju-52HB hot aircraft, dating from 1939 and nicknamed Iron Annie, was a collector's aircraft. Now, this kind of collector's aircraft is not equipped with black box flight data and voice recorders. Investigators must rely on eyewitness accounts and analysis of debris.
"44 people were shot across the Midwestern U.S. city of Chicago Sunday," U.S. media reported, with 5 killed in a wave of violence police branded totally unacceptable. Chicago Police Chief of Patrol Fred Waller told a press conference Sunday afternoon some of the shootings were targeted and related to gang conflicts. CNN reported multiple shootings took place between midnight and 2 p.m. local time, with 10 taking place in just 3 hours from 1:30 a.m. Gunmen targeted groups, including one gathering of people who had attended a funeral repast, police said, adding that one of the injured victims was an 11-year-old boy. Chicago experienced a near 20-year record number of murders in 2016, prompting President Donald Trump to regularly single out the city for criticism. But Waller said, so far this year, there has been a reduction in shootings of over 30% in Chicago, while murders are down by 24%.
To other news now, U.S. President Donald Trump admitted that his son met with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower in 2016 to get information on an opponent, but defended it as totally legal. It was Trump's most direct acknowledgement that the motive for the June 2016 meeting was to get dirt on Hillary Clinton, his Democratic rival for the presidency. As he has in the past, President Trump insisted in a tweet that he didn't know at the time about the meeting between his son, Donald Jr., and Natalia Veselnitskaya, a lawyer with links to the Kremlin. Now, in a tweet, he said, "Fake news reporting, a complete fabrication, that I am concerned about the meeting my wonderful son, Donald, had in Trump Tower. This was a meeting to get information on an opponent, totally legal and done all the time in politics. And it went nowhere. I did not know about it." The meeting has come under intense scrutiny from Special Counsel Robert Mueller, who's investigating whether members of the Trump campaign coordinated with a Russian effort to sway the 2016 election in the Republicans' favor. The Washington Post reported that President Trump has been brooding in private about whether his son unintentionally put himself in legal jeopardy by meeting with Veselnitskaya.
Steven Seagal was made a special U.S.-Russia envoy. Russia's foreign ministry said the actor and martial arts guru will help facilitate relations between Russia and the United States in the humanitarian field. Vladimir Putin first pitched Seagal for the role in 2013. He has previously hung out with Russian President Vladimir Putin, a fellow martial arts fan. Seagal calls Putin one of the great living world leaders and even performed with his blues band in the annexed Black Sea Peninsula. Seagal was seen at the 2018 World Cup in Russia and was also among the guests when Putin was sworn in for a fourth term in May.
Police say 11 children ages 1 to 15 were rescued in the U.S. state of New Mexico after officers raided a makeshift compound occupied by armed extremists. 2 men were arrested after police found them and the children in what one officer called the saddest living conditions and poverty I have seen, as part of the operation connected to a 2-month-long search for an abducted 3-year-old, according to New Mexico's Tawas County Sheriff's Office. The investigation kicked off late last year on the opposite side of the country in Jonesboro, Georgia, where 39-year-old Siraj Wahaj of the state's Clayton County was accused of kidnapping his toddler, who was ultimately not found. The boy's mother told police her child, who she said suffered from seizures along with developmental and cognitive delays, went to the park with his father, Wahaj, last December and never returned. Now, police searched the site after receiving a message from a third party that read, "We are starving and need food and water." On the morning of August 3, a dozen officers kicked off the all-day operation, discovering hidden beneath New Mexico scrubland the 2 men with an AR-15 rifle, 5 loaded 30-round magazines, and 4 loaded pistols, including one in Wahaj's pocket. 3 women, thought to be parents of the children, who are now in protective custody, were also detained for questioning. They were released pending further investigation. None of the adults would give details about the whereabouts of the missing toddler, but police believe he was at the compound a few weeks ago. Now, police said they had been aware of the compound for some time, but had to wait for a search warrant to be issued before entering, as the occupants were most likely heavily armed and considered extremists of the Muslim belief. Mr. Wahaj was armed with an AR-15 rifle and 4 pistols when they encountered him.
Climbing the Sydney Harbour Bridge illegally will now cost offenders 22,000 Australian dollars after authorities Monday raised the fine more than 6-fold as part of new security measures. The New South Wales state government will also install anti-climb mesh, higher fencing and more cameras to deter people from scaling the world-renowned landmark. The move comes after a mentally ill man sparked a major police operation and caused hours of traffic chaos when he climbed the bridge in April during an hours-long standoff in the morning rush hour. It took almost 6 hours to get him down, and multiple lanes of the bridge were closed amid fears he planned to jump.
Meanwhile, a bell tolled Monday in Hiroshima as Japan marked 73 years since the world's first atomic bombing, where the city's mayor warning that rising nationalism worldwide threatened peace. The skies over Hiroshima's Peace Memorial Park were clear, just as they were on August 6, 1945, when an American B-29 bomber dropped its deadly payload on the port city dotted with military installations, ultimately killing 140,000 people. Hiroshima Mayor Kazumi Matsui, standing at the park near Ground Zero for the annual ceremony, appealed for a world without nuclear weapons and sounded the alarm over increasing nationalism. Without naming specific nations, he warned that certain countries are explicitly expressing self-centered nationalism and modernizing their nuclear arsenals. They were rekindling tensions that had eased with the end of the Cold War, he added. He urged the abolition of nuclear weapons in a year when President Trump pledged to increase the U.S. nuclear arsenal. His call, however, highlighted Japan's contradictory relationship with nuclear weapons. Japanese officials routinely argue that they oppose atomic weapons, but the nation's defense is dependent on the U.S. nuclear umbrella.
More news will be coming your way when Eagle News International returns.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala rin nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
The machine is back at it. Guns N' Roses, not in this lifetime tour. Welcome to the rock spectacle of 2018 comes to the Philippines. November 11th, 2018 at Philippine Arena, Bulacan. Pre-sale for fan club members on June 8th, 10 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. Public on sale June 9, 10 a.m. Don't miss Guns N' Roses. Brought to you by MMI Live and Prestige Worldwide.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala rin nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
As part of the 104th anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo Worldwide, INC members in South Korea sponsored a blood donation drive at the Myeongdong Blood Donation Center in Seoul. Our ABC correspondent from South Korea, Christine Jewel-Uy, reports from Seoul.
Members of the Iglesia ni Cristo held blood donation activity in South Korea. This is in line with the 104th anniversary of the Church in the Philippines and 50th anniversary of its establishment in the West. The activity was held at Myeongdong Blood Donation Center in Seoul last August 4, 2018. 33 Filipino members of the church donated their blood, with the youngest donors as 16-year-old members. According to the church, this activity aims to help not only their countrymen but also ready to reach out in the people of South Korea. They believe that more than the good benefits for their health, the more important thing that they can gain is the ability to reach out to others and help save lives. This is already the second time that the Iglesia ni Cristo held blood donation activity in South Korea.
Ang Iglesia ni Cristo po sa distrito nito ng South Korea ay naglunsad ng ganitong aktibidad, blood donation, bilang pagsunod na rin po sa kalooban ng ating Panginoong Diyos na tayo'y tumulong sa ating kapwa-tao. Subalit higit sa lahat na pinakalayunin kung bakit po ito ay isinagawa sa ating distrito ay upang ating gunitain ang pagsapit ng anibersaryo ng Iglesia ni Cristo sa kanyang ika-104 na taon ng pagkakatatag sa Pilipinas at 50th anniversary in the West. Bahagi po ang ganitong aktibidad ng ating pong paggunita at pagdiriwang ng kaarawan ng Iglesia ni Cristo.
Because I want to help some other people, and donating blood is good for health too.
Okay.
Ito po ay ating pakikipagkaisa at pagtugon po sa panawagan ng ating pamamahala ukol sa ating mga kilusan na pangkawang gawa o pagtulong po sa ating kapwa-tao na nangangailangan. Ito'y pagsunod po natin sa ipinag-utos ng ating Panginoong Jesucristo na ibigin natin ng ating kapwa katulad ng pag-ibig po natin sa ating sarili.
So ano po ang nag-engganyo sa inyo? Bakit po gustong-gusto nyo na mag-donate po ng dugo?
Ay gusto ko pong makatulong sa ating kapwa na mga nangangailangan po. At ang isa pong nakita kong benepisyo kasi niya ay sa akin mismo sarili. Napapalitan ko kasi yung ating.
Sa katawan, I think maganda siya eh. Kasi isa akong nurse sa Philippines, so we really encourage our peers to donate blood, especially it allows you to help other people. But with regards to your health, it helps you also.
Donors will have to pass the initial screening first before they can donate blood. Among the eligibilities are people who have lived in Korea for more than 1 year, excluding the period for traveling overseas. If a donor has over 90 days of accumulated traveling history outside Korea within 1 year, the donor is eligible to donate blood after 1 year from the date of last re-entry to the Republic of Korea. A donor cannot give blood if the donor has traveled overseas within 1 month. and people who speak Korean or have an interpreter can donate their blood. For more inquiries, you can call the Korean Red Cross 033-811-0072 for Korean and 033-811-0087 for English services, or you can send an email to bloodinternational@redcross.or.kr. This is Christine Jewel Uy, your EBC correspondent from South Korea, and I am one with 25.
Over in Bahrain, the Iglesia Ni Cristo members there commemorated the 104th anniversary of the church. Alexa Obrero reports.
The members of the Church of Christ here in Bahrain commemorates its 104th anniversary and 50th year of establishment of the church in the West. Right now, we are here at Alumni Hall of Isa bin Salman Cultural Center reenacting how the West has started.
It was July 27, 1968 when the late Executive Minister Iranio G. Manalo had established the Church of Christ in Honolulu, Hawaii of the United States. And to remind the brethren how the West had started, a play has been staged accompanied with music and dance in which members of the Church of Christ all over the kingdom have gratefully gathered and fulfilled.
Ako po at ang aking sambahayan ay bumabati po sa lahat ng mga kapatid sa buong mundo ng happy 104th anniversary at ng 50th anniversary Church of Christ in the West. At higit sa lahat ay bumabati po kami sa ating pinakamamahal na tagapamahalang pangkalahatan, ang kapatid na Eduardo V. Manalo, ng happy 104th anniversary and happy 50th anniversary Church of Christ in the West. Salamat po sa lahat ng mga bumuo ng programa para sa aming distrito. Napakaganda po at very inspiring, not only for us, even for all those who are attended in this program. Dahil sa naipakita po nila yung pagsisimula ng iglesia, kahalagahan po nito para sa kaligtasan ng tao.
So na-inspired ako doon sa napanood kong presentation, doon sa malakas na kapangyarihan ng Diyos na ibinigay niya sa atin. So tinupad niya yung hula sa Biblia, nanggaling sa Pilipinas, dinala niya tayo sa kanluran, at ngayon napakarami ng mga lokal sa iba't ibang dako ng mga iba't ibang bansa, teritoryo. So hayag na hayag yung kapangyarihan ng Diyos sa buong iglesia. So ako bilang Iglesia ni Cristo, sobrang namangha ako, na-inspired ako, mas lalong tumaas yung pananampalataya ako, at talagang masasabi kong I am proud to be Iglesia ni Cristo.
Truly, God's promise has been fulfilled. The victory of the Church of Christ around the globe is indeed His marvelous work. I'm Alexa May Obrero, your Eagle News correspondent from Bahrain, and I am one with 25.
As part of the celebration of the 104th anniversary of the Iglesia ni Cristo and 50th anniversary in the West, Iglesia ni Cristo members in Australia gathered on July 28, 2018 at Whitlam Leisure Centre in Liverpool, Sydney to watch a live musical program entitled God's Promises Fulfilled. Raylene Quinto reports.
July 27, 1914 marks a significant date for the Iglesia ni Cristo, the date when it was registered with the Philippine government. The establishment of the Iglesia ni Cristo in the West was a profound achievement that occurred when the first worship service outside of the Philippines was conducted in Honolulu, Hawaii in 1968. The 50 Years in the West musical presentation is told from the perspective of a pioneering minister of the gospel, relaying how the Church of Christ began in the Philippines and how it has rapidly spread around the world today. As the story unfolds, the members of the church begin to see the promises God has fulfilled to His people from the biblical times up to the present. As the celebration unfolds simultaneously worldwide, members of the church in Melbourne, Australia have gathered at the Encore Event Centre in Hoppers Crossing to commemorate this momentous event. As early as April of this year, 150 cast and crew all over Metro Sydney have worked together on this musical presentation spearheaded by the church. And after months of anticipation, the long-awaited celebration is finally here. As the Iglesia Ni Cristo continues to grow all around the world, the 50 Years in the West worldwide celebration greatly marks another important milestone for the church members in these modern times. Reporting from Sydney, Australia, I'm Raylene Quinto and I am one with 25.
Thank you, Raylene. Eagle News International, we'll be right back.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala rin nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko lang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Pep News, Linggo, alas 4 hanggang alas 5 ng hapon.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami ko ospital na napuntahan, pero wala rin nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko lang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Welcome back. Hundreds of police patrol the streets of Beijing's financial district as Chinese authorities clamp down on a planned protest against losses sustained in risky peer-to-peer or P2P lending platforms. Enraged over financial losses, petitioners told AFP they had come from every corner of China from the southernmost province of Guangdong to the far west region of Xinjiang in hopes that by gathering en masse, the government would recognize their grievances and take action. But authorities appear to have other plans. More than 120 buses lined the roads around the China Banking Regulatory Commission, where the protest was supposed to take place. They stretched all the way to Beijing's Dayutai State Guest House, some 3 kilometers away. Security forces rounded up groups of petitioners from the surrounding streets and parks and drove them away in the buses under police escort.
Kim Hyo-jun, head of BMW's Korea unit, apologized Monday for a spate of engine fires in South Korea that angered consumers and sparked a government investigation into an alleged delay in recalling more than 100,000 cars. More than 30 BMW cars, mostly the 520D sedan model, have caught fire this year in South Korea, forcing the firm to issue a recall last month to fix a faulty component that was aimed at reducing emissions from diesel engines. BMW blamed a faulty component called the exhaust gas recirculation cooler that generated excessive sediment and caused engines to catch fire, and said the problem was not Korea-specific. A similar raid was observed in other jurisdictions, said Johan Eben Beikler, Vice President of BMW for Quality, without listing other countries where such accidents had been reported. The car maker had also used the same software and hardware for its vehicles sold in Europe, he said, adding that the firm had decided to undertake the same campaigns there as in South Korea. The recall in the South, which applies to 42 models using diesel engines, is scheduled to begin on August 20.
Firefighters helped by calmer winds took control of a forest fire raging in Almonaster La Real in the province of Huelva in southwest Spain. Take a look. A top temperature of 42 degrees Celsius or 107 degrees Fahrenheit was forecast in the southwest region of Extremadura on Sunday, where a wildfire in San Vicente de Alcantara has been brought under control by firefighters. That is according to the local fire service. The mercury had reached 44 degrees Celsius in the country's south on Saturday, and that is according to the Spanish Meteorological Agency. The rise in temperatures has already claimed the lives of 3 people who died of heat stroke this week.
A forest fire continues to rage on 2 fronts in Monchique in southern Portugal, with 800 firefighters supported by 12 water-dropping planes and helicopters working to put it out. A temperature of 46.8 degrees was recorded north of Lisbon on Saturday, although nowhere reached the nationwide record of 47.3 degrees registered in the southern village of Amareleja in 2003. Faced with a heat wave, the National Rail Company admitted that there had been air conditioning problems on some trains and halted the sale of tickets for certain routes, especially those which cross areas where the temperatures are most ferocious. A forest fire continued to rage on 2 fronts in Monchique in the country's south on Sunday, with 800 firefighters supported by 12 water-dropping planes and helicopters were working to put it out. Another forecast fire in central Estremoz has left 6 people wounded, 2 in serious condition.
Now, while the temperature was down to a near seasonal 25 degrees Celsius in the Netherlands on Sunday, the country's drought continues to wreak havoc on crops. Farmers are working night and day to save what they can. That is according to the Dutch broadcaster NOS reported, with potato and corn yields hit particularly hard. Producers have warned that a potato shortage could affect the supply of fries, a Dutch favorite.
South Koreans crowd water parks to cool themselves amid a heat wave which has seen the mercury hit 35 degrees Celsius for at least 15 days and sometimes go as high as 40 degrees. The prolonged heat wave in South Korea has caused 38 deaths from heat stroke, according to government announcement on Monday. The nation's capital, Seoul, saw a record temperature of 39.6 degrees Celsius last week, the hottest since 1907, when the country began to compile weather data.
Meanwhile, wildfires forced the closure of Yosemite National Park. Officials closed the park to protect visitors from thick smoke caused by the Ferguson fire, which has consumed more than 80,000 acres. Meanwhile, California's deadly car wildfire, now the state's sixth most destructive, has claimed another life, with a power linesman killed on the job, its seventh fatality. The car fire, located some 200 miles north of San Francisco, is still growing, according to CAL FIRE. Its intensity was so great at one point that it generated a tornado-like whirl of fire, as well as its own weather system. The news continues here on Eagle News International. We'll be right back.
Health is our most important asset, and it should always be a constant effort to seek ways to take care of it. That includes professional medical help from the best available. The Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated is known as one of the most specialized centers in medical services, backed by several experienced physicians in Chinese medicine. At an accuracy rate of 98%, countless patients who visited Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated have already been treated and cured.
Marami po ospital na napuntahan, pero wala ring nangyayari. Somebody introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated. After 2 treatments, gumanda ang pakiramdam ko.
My friends introduced me Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, and luckily, I got cured. So I sincerely want to thank the doctors of Manila-Beijing Medical Associated.
For the past 30 years, ang dami ko nang na-take na mga gamot. Nothing happened to me. So until one my friend introduced me to Manila-Beijing Medical Associated, you know what? All my illness was cured.
For any health problems or incurable diseases, you can visit Manila-Beijing Medical Associated Incorporated, located at 843B Sabino Padilla Street, Binondo, Manila.
Tungkulin ng MTRCV ang mag-provide na appropriate ratings sa lahat ng TV shows. Para ugaliin ng pamilya ang responsableng panonood. Teamwork tayo, parents!
Rated G, good for all. Oops, rated PG.
Dapat may mga magulang para sagutin ang mga tanong ng kabataan.
Grabe, rated SPG, maselan!
Higpitan ang paggabay.
Pag rated MTRCV, rated responsable.
Can blood type determine character? As RV Arbier reports, it's all Korean superstition. Watch this.
Can a blood type determine character? When going to South Korea,
Rather than the ubiquitous North American question, what's your zodiac sign? You are more likely to be asked, what's your blood type? Can blood type determine character? To other people, blood type may mean nothing more than information needed to find a match for blood transfusion. But in South Korea, a person's personality, temperament, and compatibility, both romantic and platonic, with others can be determined by their blood type, either A, B, O, or AB. The concept of blood types determining personal traits allegedly goes back to the 1920s in Japan, with the concept being resuscitated in the 1970s by a Japanese writer, Masahiko Nomi. The idea then spread from Japan to Taiwan and to South Korea. In today's South Korea, it'd be hard-pressed to find any native who doesn't know their blood type. Under the blood type personality theory, Korean people stereotype with blood type A as introverted, considerate, self-conscious, patient, unable to express emotions well, and tend to be perfectionist. Those with blood type B as creative, individualistic, self-centered, inconsiderate, and passionate. Blood type ABs are said to be as critical, indecisive, unpredictable, emotional, and are most likely to be the geniuses. Those with blood type O are said to be as being leaders, easygoing, friendly, and outgoing. According to a 2017 poll by Gallup Korea, around 58% of the Korean population said they believed to the blood type personality theory to some degree, while the remaining 42% said they did not. In terms of demographics, around 34% of the Korean population are type A, and 28% are type O, while 27% are type B. Type AB accounts for the remaining 11%, according to the pollster. Scientifically, blood type differs according to the type of proteins in the blood. It is a genetic trait that is determined by your parents, with no evidence-based links to personality. As for its history, the ABO blood group system itself was developed by Austrian physician Karl Landsteiner in 1901. While there is no scientific evidence to back up blood type personality theory, it is still interesting and fun. These stereotypes are really fun conversation topics in Korea, and if you're traveling to Korea or trying to make Korean friends, you should definitely find out what kinds of personalities people think you have. This is RV Arabiero, your EBC correspondent from South Korea, and I am one with 25.
In Philippine basketball, Ginebra stole Game 5 away from defending champion San Miguel Beer, scoring a wild 87-83 victory Sunday at the Araneta Coliseum. Thompson finished with 20 points and 11 rebounds, capping his game-long brilliance with 6 points that turned the tide in Ginebra's favor in the closest and definitely the most exciting game of the best-of-7 series. The Gin Kings won back-to-back games for the first time this series to take a 3-2 lead, one win away from dethroning the Beermen in the mid-season joust. Ginebra held San Miguel scoreless in the last 3 minutes and finished the game on a 9-0 run. Trying to force overtime, the Beermen missed so many triples, including a questionable one by Arwin Santos when he fired a heavily contested jumper from 30 feet with 9 seconds to go.
I guess everybody got what they wanted. In terms of a close game, it couldn't get any closer than that. How come I feel so low all of a sudden? Looking up to everybody, I was before I was looking down. One of the toughest games I played in the finals. So we got that crucial Game 5, but it's like we got to make sure we didn't win the war or win the battle and then lose the war still. The war is still out there. So, but this was an important one, and we're certainly going to go for it on Wednesday.
After 4 straight blowouts, Game 5 was finally close as San Miguel and Ginebra fought to a 40-all tie at halftime. The game was still tied at 66 entering the fourth quarter, but San Miguel got some breathing room towards the end, leading 83-78 after Junmar Fajardo dunked on Scotty Thompson in transition. However, that proved to be the final basket for the Beermen as San Miguel missed all of their attempts in the final 3 minutes and 17 seconds of the game, including several shots at the rim. Thompson led the Gin Kings in scoring with 20 points to go along with 11 rebounds, while Justin Brownlee had 18 in a rare bad shooting night.
Yeah, coach hindi ko nalagay siya working hard. Hindi ako nag-stay. Parang nagbuwasa kami na parang nabuwari ng after mo. Nakasama na siya na umanap. Sobrang happy lang kasi yung defense natin talagang galing. Yung mga shoot ko, banda ko rin, so lack siya na rin for me. Pero with this game, isa na may panalo.
LA Tenorio added another 15 for Ginebra, and for the Beermen, Ronaldo Bachman dropped 34 points and 20 rebounds. Junmar Fajardo scored 23 points. Game 6 shifts to Moa Arena, where the Barangay will try to close the series and or the Beermen to even the series and force a Game 7. Meanwhile, the Philippines said Sunday it would send a men's basketball team to the Asian Games in Indonesia, just days after abruptly pulling out in the wake of an on-court brawl with Australia at a World Cup qualifier. The SBP, together with Philippine Basketball Association, PBA, confirmed on Sunday evening that the country will be sending a team to the basketball competition of the Asiad, which starts on August 18 in Jakarta and Palembang in Indonesia. As earlier planned, the core of the Rain or Shine Lasso Painters will anchor the national team, with NX coach Yang Giao calling the shots.
We'd like to announce our participation in the Asian Games. Okay. And this will be final. To realize that there was a strong clamor from our basketball fans. And since we are the house of basketball, we need to really take a look at it and understand what that clamor and where that was coming from.
This development comes 9 days after SBP shockingly withdrew from the Asian Games, citing a need to focus on its appeal of FIBA's recent decision on the brawl between Australia and Gilas Pilipinas, as well as the national team's stint in the second round of the FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers in September. That decision came as a surprise, as hours earlier, the SBP and the PBA finalized a deal to send the Rain or Shine core to the Asian Games. 6 Elasto painters will still represent the country, but Giao got his wish as players from different PBA teams were allowed to reinforce the lineup, including Global Core Stanley Pringle and Magnolia's Paul Lee.
And we also promise our basketball fans that we're not only sending a team, but we're also sending a team that they will be proud of and watch in the Asian Games.
Vargas also confirmed that the Philippines has already gotten the go signal from the Olympic Council of Asia and the Indonesian Asian Games Organizing Committee to compete once more, after signifying their intent to withdraw from the event last week. SBP's change of heart came with the help of Special Assistant to the President Bongo, who had previously expressed his intent to talk to the PBA and SBP regarding the country's participation in the quadrennial games.
So Bongo appealed and talked to the PBA and to the SBP for us to see if we can reconsider that our participation.
Go, a basketball enthusiast, had been disappointed by the SBP's earlier decision to withdraw from the Asiad. He said, "We are not obligated to win. We are obligated to keep trying and do the best we can do every day. This is Filipino pride, and nothing unties Filipinos on every social class more than what happens on the basketball court," Go added. The national team that will play in the Asian Games will be backed by Chooks to Go Bounty Agriventure Incorporated. President Ronald Mascareñas had called SBP's decision an answered prayer. The men's basketball competition in Asian Games officially starts on August 14, ahead of the opening. The Philippines has been grouped with Iran, Syria, and the United Arab Emirates in Group B. And these are the stories for EN Sports. I'm Ben Bernaldez, and I am 1 with 25.
Thanks, Ben. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Tumblr. Also check out our boards and Pinterest and pictures on Instagram. I'm Sam Cepeda. Thanks for joining us.
I'm Alma Angeles, and
we're 1 with 25.
susunod na programa ay rated PG. Ito ay nangangailangan ng patnubay at gabay ng magulang para sa mga batang manonood.